Today is November 11th, 2024, and I am up about 6% for the day on a day where the NASDAQ is basically flat. It was slightly down today, but then it just came back up for break even. So a few things I wanted to talk about today. First one is I did pull another $5,000 of margin to buy a little bit of Pepsi. What I'm starting to see on the charts, this doesn't mean it's going to happen, of course. It's just something that I'm kind of thinking about, is we could see the market go risk off ending the year. And it's something that I've been worried about ever since this market started pumping really hard, which was all of this FOMO kind of front running that end of year rally or the Santa Claus rally, whatever people want to call it. And so if that is true, we could see risk off plays kind of outperform to finish off the year. Not outperform for the whole year, of course, but just for the last remaining months. And earlier today, I did go ahead and sell a covered call on Palantir, which is something that I've been avoiding because I did mess around with a lot of covered calls when I first started out in the market and I didn't really know much. And one of the reasons why I stopped doing it was because I just don't like capping my gains. But with this ridiculous move in Palantir recently, it feels like a lot of people were caught off guard, especially when it broke 50 and went to 60, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, so it broke 50 and it started shooting to 60, and I think that caught a lot of people off guard. And I've been hearing a lot of talk on X and on YouTube, etc., of people rolling out their covered calls that they did have on Palantir whenever it hit 50. And it made me think that possibly this huge move in Palantir could be the result of a lot of people being caught on the wrong side of the trade. I've also seen some screenshots on X of people that were selling covered calls on stuff like maybe SoFi, Palantir, Robinhood. I think some people were selling some on PayPal, Tesla. I mean, there's a ton of stocks that people have been selling covered calls on. And as you may have noticed, a lot of those stocks have been doing very well. People have been caught on the wrong side of the trade and they were rolling out their covered calls or just straight up buying them back because they don't want to give up their shares. And so one of the reasons why I stopped doing covered calls was because I do not want to give up my shares. Whenever I buy a company, I typically would like to stick with it for the long term, unless it's a trade specifically and I go into it knowing that it's a trade. But I do like to stick around with the companies that I own. But with all of those things that I've been noticing with Palantir especially, and just how seriously overbought it seems in the short term, how many people got caught on the wrong side of the trade, I thought it was okay to open that one covered call. But then Palantir started dipping and I made like maybe 20, 30 bucks in a short amount of time. So I was like, okay, I might as well just take my profit here. I mean, it's only like 20 bucks or so. I have zero intention of selling my very few Palantir shares that I have left. I did have a lot more a long time ago. I think I talked about it before, but it's a long story, maybe for another time. But yeah, I did have a lot more shares of Palantir a long time ago, and I got rid of it. Then I came back when it dipped a lot. And yeah, so I mean, me and Palantir, we've had like a bumpy relationship, I guess you could say. But yeah, I only have like 200 shares of Palantir left. I have zero intention of selling it or getting it called away. So I'm being very careful with my covered calls here. And speaking of sticking with companies for the long term, I've been hearing a lot of talk on the news, like on CNBC, Bloomberg, etc., about how now that Republicans have a lot of control in government, they're expecting a lot less regulation and a lot more M&A activity. So lots of companies getting bought out, merging together, etc. And this is possibly one of the reasons why small caps have been pumping like crazy. And it kind of makes me worry about Honest, because Honest is such a small company. It could easily get bought out by a big dog, but I really don't want Honest to get bought out. And I forget who said this quote. If anybody does actually know who said this quote, please comment it down below because I just can't remember right now. But the quote is something like, companies that are on a mission never sell. Maybe it was like Steve Jobs or something like that. I believe that Honest could really be one of these companies that change the industry, right? Because their whole message and mission is to clean out the ingredients list. Whenever you're looking at cleaning products, baby products, beauty products, any home care, personal care product, there's a bunch of ingredients in there that are probably not good for you and are probably not good for your child, right? Or for your household. And so their mission is we want it cleaned out as much as possible. We want to have a premium brand. We want to have a brand and a company and products that people can actually trust. And so if they actually are on that mission, it wouldn't make sense to get bought out by a corporation that they were trying to go up against, right? That they were trying to rebel and change. But anyways, Honest did do very well today. They almost hit $5. I believe their earnings are tomorrow. But once they break $5, I fully expect Honest to be $10. Robinhood, I believe. Yep, Robinhood hit my price target of $33. Anybody that has been watching my last few videos will know that my price target on Robinhood was 33. And now that they hit 33, this might sound crazy, but my next price target of Robinhood is actually 50. And if they can hit 50, then we're going back to the previous all-time high, which is around 80, 85. But of course, 80 to 85 is kind of a long shot right now. You know, we first got to see how we do around 50. So yeah, my next price target on Robinhood is $50, and that does not mean you should buy or sell. So yeah, finishing out the rest of this year, we could possibly see somewhat of a correction because my account has been exploding like crazy. I'm 131% of all time. I don't know if I'm outperforming the NASDAQ finally, maybe, possibly. But definitely the last year, definitely the last year I'm outperforming the NASDAQ. Year to date, 92%, 93, 63%, 26, 29% the past week. 6% in one day. This is not a buy and sell recommendation, obviously, and there are no guarantees, but we could possibly see somewhat of a correction to finish out this year, and maybe my account dips below 100K slightly in the short term. And like I said, maybe we'll see Pepsi outperform a little bit. But yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to buy put options on Robinhood and Palantir. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell more covered calls. Maybe if it goes up even more tomorrow, maybe I might do like a small covered call. Maybe, probably not though. I mean, I made my $20 today. I'm happy with that. And I still think Robinhood has tremendous amount of upside to go.